Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today we have a familiar face to the channel. He is the Slim Reaper. No, it's not Kevin Durant. It is Mr. Mitchell Pollard. He is here. We're going to talk about his upcoming main event, Conflict MMA contest. What? He's going into battle, Pickens, South Carolina. It's going down next Saturday. You're taking on Darius Parker. You know, Mitchell, you've had a really good start to your MMA career here. You're 3-0. You're a very dynamic fighter. You're a flashy fighter. You're a lot of fun to watch. All of a sudden, you get thrown a main event opportunity. What was going through your head when Coach Chris told you, you know, Jared wants you to main event this one?
Excitement, anxious, and I feel already prepared. So like, it was a great feeling. I'm like, yes, higher the stakes, man. Higher it up. Keep giving me more and more high fights, and keep let the stakes get higher. So I was ready.
You know, you've been doing really good so far. I mean, you're so fun to watch, man. You know, that first fight, first debut against Cody Alt last year, big knockout, second round. I'm pretty sure I was there. I covered that one. And, you know, from that point, there was no looking back. How has this transition been for you, you know, getting into mixed martial arts? It's been pretty seamless?
Yeah, seamless. That's when me staying active. I'm getting used to everything. That Kobe fight really opened my eyes up to my potential and where I could go. He's a great fighter. And after that second round knockout, man, I'm like, okay, I'm getting better and better. I'm getting more tools in my toolbox, and now it's time to use them.
You know, the last time you were in action, once again, in Charleston, South Carolina, you took on Tyler Thaxton. Another unanimous decision victory. You really got to show how well-rounded you are in that fight. You know, your striking, it's so dynamic. But one thing that I really like about you is your movement. The way that you move, it's so precise. Is that something that Chris has been instilling you? Where have you got the skills to like move just so freely like that?
Of course, for my striking coach, Chris has got a movement down pat. And I think also too is I think sometimes comes in natural. You know, once I get into that state, man, the flow state, it's hard to get me out of it, and it's hard to stop it. And I think too, me and Chris like working together, and we work at Icebox to perfect what we're trying to do.
You know, that fight was very dominating on your part, and it looked like you hit him with some very hard shots at a couple periods there in that fight. Anywhere in there, do you feel like you could have got him out there?
Yeah, I feel it was. He's a tough dude, but I feel like it was a couple of opportunities I could have tagged him. But all 3 rounds, I was just showing how much of a good striker I am, and how I can outclass some of these experienced fighters.
So you're taking on Darius Parker next. You know, he comes from a very good gym, just like yourself. He's coming from Wonder Boy's gym, Upstate Karate over in Greenville. Going to be fighting close. So you're kind of like the out-of-town rival, I guess you could say. You might get a little booze coming in there, fighting in enemy territory. Both of you guys undefeated. Both of you guys 3-0. Someone, unfortunately, most likely will be leaving there with an L. Overall, you know, you're early in your MMA career, but do you feel like to strive and get to where you want to go, dreams of doing this professionally, get to the big shows, do you feel like you need to fight the toughest guys possible right now?
Have to. And this fight is a perfect opportunity to show that. You know, he's undefeated. I'm undefeated. Somebody has to go, and I love the nervous, anxious feeling before I get out there, because it's for a belt and we're both undefeated. And also too, like being the rival at the time, like I'm not always, I'm kind of like a hero because I have support with me, usually where I go at, but this is in his hometown. So I kind of get to be the villain in this situation. So I don't mind doing that first time trying that. And that's not the first time I've been booed. So this is nothing I never experienced.
You know, overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Great opponent, comes from a great gym. Stephen Wonderboy, I met him before. He's pretty cool, and he's gonna go places. He has great striking.
Now, have you already thought, you know, winning the belt, different poses that you're going to do? Are you going to be the guy that you're going to wear it around the waist? You're going to put it over the shoulder? You're going to put it up in the air? Like, have you thought about this?
Yeah, I like the over the shoulder look. I do like the over the shoulder look. It depends how intense I feel, so I might hold it up over my head. But yeah, over the shoulder more than likely.
It's pretty crazy. When you look at the amateur fighters, a lot of times, it takes guys maybe 7, 8 fights to get an amateur title shot. You're doing it within your fourth shot. I mean, you very well deserve it. I mean, there's no arguments on that. I think you very well deserve it. Are you surprised at all of how fast this has all come for you?
At first, I was. But now the more training I put in, the more effort. Not no more. I'm trying to get these fights so I get more comfortable in that octagon.
So one thing that I don't think many people realize, they watch the UFC, they watch these big shows, they see the fighters, they see them in the spotlight, the glory, the fame, and they're like, what a glorious life it is, must be to be a fighter. What they don't realize is to get there, man, it's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made.
Right.
You're not getting paid as an amateur. Obviously you're doing this, try to build up your stock and, get the reps in and try to get to that next level, of course. I know you work at a job, you work, you pay, you do this on the side, you get punched in the face, all the hours with Chris and the rest of the guys over at Icebox. What motivates you to get through all that?
And I feel like this too with every amateur fighter that has a 9-to-5 job. You really have to love MMA. You really have to love to do it in order to put in that work, because there's going to be obstacles. And sometimes it does get tiring, but that's why the sacrifices, like staying up, partying, like sometimes you gotta get that out of here, man, and stay focused.
Well, I think it's kind of cool with you. In addition to being a fighter, you also work in the aviation industry, right? Over at Gulfstream?
Yeah, I got a little career in aviation, man. Great place to work at.
What do you do there? What exactly is your part of all that?
I work on the empennage, so I'm part of the assembly line, and I do drilling, hammering, and all that, man. Trying not to mess up them $1 million planes.
That's really cool. Another guy who's made a name for himself, Conflict MMA, Malcolm Wellmaker, now a UFC fighter, but his story is really amazing. He's a welder. He still is,
Wow.
until he can figure things out. He's a welder. He does a pipe fitter. He does all that stuff.
Yeah.
That tough 9-to-5 blue collar lifestyle. When you go to work every single day, obviously you like your job, you're in a cool spot and everything, but you get motivation of being like, you know what, man, maybe if I can stick around for this, do my fighting stuff, I can turn that into my career.
Yes. Like I be telling all my buddies, man, dude, I would rather wake up 3:00 in the morning and go jog, go train for fighting instead of going into that job. It's a great job, but my love and passion is for fighting, and that's what I want to do for a living.
Now, you guys, your gym's doing really big things right now. Chris is doing a great job of Icebox MMA. I think they've already moved locations once or twice. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's still relatively a newer gym, but what makes you guys so special? It's not just you. There's some other guys who are coming on the Conflict scene and, putting up great performances. To talk a little bit, brag a little bit about your coaches right now.
Man, Coach Chris and Coach Gay. I met Coach Chris first, then I met Coach Gay, and man, Coach Gay is the grappling coach and Chris is the striking coach. And when those two got together, man, it just became a dynamic duo. They're squeezing each other in. What can this work? This can work. And they're helping me and Boog and all the other Icebox fighters getting better and better. And it's like a family out there. I can call them if I need anything. I can lean on them. They help me get out my head. Great support group at Icebox. Like what they've started and where we've started and where we are now, it's crazy, man. It's a blessing. It really is.
When I watch you fight, I mean, it's hard not to draw some comparisons to guys in the UFC. And there's two that always go in my head. One main one, I think, John Jones. You must be a John Jones super fan because it looks like John Jones when you're fighting. The second one is Israel Adesanya. Would those be two pretty good comparisons of maybe guys you try to emulate your style off of?
Yes. Israel Adesanya's style is beautiful. The way John Jones, the way he figures out how to win, even when he's in trouble, like he always finds a way to win. And looking at those guys and their careers, just like, why can't I do that? And they got a similar build to me, of course. So, like I said, I'm looking at how they move, certain tricks they use, not copying their style, but just trying to get high level like them.
Obviously you're doing really good on the amateur scene, and anyone who knows anything about mixed martial arts is watching you. They know that at some point you're going to turn pro here, and you're probably going to have a very good run in the pro MMA scene. Now, is that something that's even being discussed right now? Or are you just, trying to forget about it? let Chris tell you when it's time to go, sort of thing?
Yes, but the thing we have a game plan, and everything is set in that game plan. I don't want to have many spoilers, but we have a game plan and everything's set, and that game plan is being pursued right now. So of course I'm gonna go pro in the future.
Going forward now, when you go into every single fight like this, knowing that you're going to go pro, is there an emphasis on trying to go out finishes, trying to fight a flashy, popular style, or do you try to forget about all that and just whatever happens, happens?
I fight my fight. I fight my fight. You never know how the fight's gonna go. A fight is tricky sometimes. Some people say you chase a finish, you lose a decision. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning to be more patient, waiting on the right combinations, listening to my coaches. And if you get caught, he gets caught.
It's crazy that you haven't even been competing for a full year. I think it'll be a full year in December, already fighting for that title. Do you kind of have to sometimes, remind yourself, hey, I haven't even done this for a full year yet?
Now since you did, yeah, it's crazy. It is kind of crazy. And I'm surprised, but not surprised because I put in a lot of work and put a lot of effort. I got great coaches. They hold me to a higher standard. And so, yeah, I'm surprised and not surprised. But sometimes it is a little crazy, though.
Are you starting to merge with one of those guys at the gym now where all the other fighters are maybe approaching to for advice, getting your thoughts on things?
Yeah. I'm not the one to never overstep, but I'm always here for the fighters. So sometimes I get asked questions, and and we even in the newer fighters, we all help each other out. We all help each other out. We're all humble, and that's why I think that would make Icebox a great gym.
Now, what would it mean for you to be able to represent, the Savannah, Georgia area, the 912, Low Country, South Carolina, that whole area? What do you think it would mean to represent them, during the pro scene, during those, maybe bigger shows in the future? Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think there's anyone from around these parts who has done the UFC or has done any of that.
Yeah. It would mean something special, putting 912 on the map, representing 912, showing that, the 912 is nothing to be played with. And there's some dogs out here, it's not as popular as it is like basketball and football, but hopefully I can make a difference with my gym and make a strike in the scene.
You feel like you and the rest of the Icebox guys are doing a really good job of, trying to maybe grow mixed martial arts in this area?
Oh, yes. They are putting in the work. We are putting in the work every training camp. The coaches got us, we all hold ourselves accountable. We get on to each other, like work harder. You can do this, and I think that's what makes us a big crew and a good crew, how we are now and how we going crazy right now in the fight scene.
What's the ultimate goal for you, Mitchell? What do you want to accomplish out of all this?
Man, I want to take it as far as I can go, UFC, man, and make a great career and don't have no regrets, so I can look back and say, wow, yeah, I really did this.
You get some motivation when you see guys who have fought for Conflict, like the Malcolm Wellmakers of the world and some of the others who, started Conflict or in the UFC. Is that kind of like a special feeling to you where it's like, they got there, I know I can get there too?
Yeah. And we all are human. And looking at Malcolm, and you telling me that he has a 9-to-5 job, it's crazy. The way he's fighting, like it's just like he's doing it 24/7. But seeing him and all the other fighters, man, it's very encouraging, what I'm saying? Because if they can do it, why can't I?
All right, Malcolm, I got one final question. Or no, not Malcolm. Wow, I'm going to hit myself. All right, Mitchell. I got one last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Darius Parker next Saturday in Pickett, South Carolina for Conflict MMA?
Get a clean, fresh win and go celebrate with the fam.
Maybe make a trip down to River Street Sunday, possibly with the championship belt?
Oh, yeah. Walk around. You got to walk around the belt. I got to walk around the belt.
All right, Mitchell. Well, I wish you nothing but the best, man. I'm excited to see you step back in the cage. I'm glad, you really deserve everything that's been thrown your way. Big main event, title fight opportunity, man. I'm excited to watch it, dude. Absolutely. That's Mitchell Pollard. I'm Carlo Peruzza.
Thank you.
Stick around, fight fans.